Thank you.
Peter, will you be happy if your opponents come out physical the rest of the time and see you bring some emotion to that game?
I think that it was good to see a good positive response that way. We're the ones that played back-to-back and came in, a little late last night. So I think our guys responded the way we wanted to. We knowing that they're a physical team and they play hard and they play tough, and we had to be ready to play. And so I think it was a really good response.
The overall compete level and just the energy and the physicality.
I think that was necessary for us to be in that game, because if we didn't come out with a little energy, a little edge, we knew that they were an edgy team. They were going to play physical, and so we had to be ready to play and be ready to come out. Now, we made some mistakes, and maybe that was fatigue or whatever on their goals, but our response was positive. We responded, tied the game up. They came back. We didn't fold the tents. We stayed mentally strong and continued to push and continued to come back. And when we made mistakes, we corrected it very quickly.
A lot of one-goal losses before tonight. You talked about coming back. So what does that do psychologically for this team to be able to pull one of these out?
I think that's a really important point. This was our sixth one-goal game coming in a row. And, when you get into those situations and you're down by a goal in a third, you want to see a response where you get back into the game. You want to see your team kind of respond, and that kind of kickstarts you. And we haven't got that for a while. So I think it was really positive that we stuck to it and got the win.
Is there any reason that you think Kadri and Winnick have kind of worked as two-thirds of the line pretty consistently this year when they've been together?
It's hard to find what the chemistry is between players. I think we had a conversation a long time ago, maybe, I'm not sure if it was December or where it was, but when you find a line, sometimes you look at it and you say that won't work, or that should work, and it doesn't. You just don't know. I mean, Danny does certain things. He's a smart player defensively. He can make a play, and they just have a chemistry. And on the other side of that line, I thought Loop's coming out, being off for a while, played pretty well, coming back in for the first time in 10 days.
What kind of value does Daniel's versatility kind of offer you?
I think it's extremely valuable to me. Just for the sake that he's one of our best, or he is our best penalty killer, and he's been able to play on a third line, or he can play on a first line. He can move back down. He can play left wing, right wing. Whenever the things need to be changed around, whatever position you want him to do, he'll take face-offs. I mean, he is very versatile. He's a smart guy. Tonight, he got into a little tussle, and I think that's necessary too for guys to step up in important times.
Seems when one or all three of your top guys get a chance to score at even strength, you've got a pretty good chance to win a hockey game.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see everybody contribute, and your top lines have got to be leading the charge in that way too. But there's important goals that happened. Was Leo getting that shorthanded goal was an important goal. That tip in front of the net, that's the kind of goal we were talking about getting. We were talking about getting traffic, and there were layers of traffic. There was one on the blue, one on top, and both guys were there and tipping, and the goalie had no real chance on that. So we were talking about that's the type of goals we needed to score. Some ugly goals, some goals that are scored in April and May and June, rather than the type of goals that you usually see in October and November.
I'm sure you feel like exploding when you see some of the giveaways you guys have made over the past few games. But when it's a young defenseman come up with a couple of them, you have to have a degree of patience.
Yeah, it's a learning lesson. I mean, I think the same thing happened on their third goal. I mean, it just kind of like it was the same thing, and then maybe it's fatigue, but the lessons that we have to learn and we have to continue to grow with is we've got to eliminate those big ones that turn into goals against. I think we can correct that, and we are learning how to correct that, but you have to respond that it's a 60-minute game, and so you can't let that affect your next 2 shifts or next 3 shifts or the rest of that period. You have to respond and get back on it.
Still have to chip away at the power play, I guess, and zone entry and things like that.
Well, I mean, it would have been nice to be able to get that 4-on-3 in overtime. I think that was a great opportunity, but again, I continually to say, listen, we have to be better in that area, but you can't let that affect you negative. And I continue to say that because I think that's a lesson for our team. The consistency of continuing pushing and doing the things that are successful for us are important, that you don't let up. and you don't let ups. When you make a mistake, we've got to be able to correct it. It was good to have some veteran guys on the bench, Ole and Loops on the bench, that were speaking and talking and saying, listen, guys, let's go. And you need that from your leadership.
How important was it tonight for Bernier to, fought the puck a little bit tonight, I thought, but yet the team bounces back and scores enough goals for him to get back on track?
Yeah, I think it's really big. I mean, he's gone through the same tough stretch that we have, like he's now won a game. This is like 11 games, and he's been in some 1-goal games and some very close games. And if you remember that game where they scored from center ice, and like he's had to battle through that. That's a mentally tough for a goalie. I mean, you want your goalie to win you one of those games, and it's been tough for him. And he's a battle, and he's a warrior, and it was really good to see him push through here. And as Bob was saying, that they're like he's at times it looked like the pucks were bobbling a little bit, and you have to fight through it, and that's what he did, and it helps our team.